All right, so let's get right into it. Um, this question, are we alone in the universe?
Yeah.
It's like, it's one that never really gets old, does it? We've got some really interesting articles here all about the search for extraterrestrial life. And we're going to really dive deep into all the evidence theories, all the possibilities.
It really is a timeless question. And I
Yeah.
think what's fascinating is how much our approach to answering it has evolved, especially with the technology we have now.
Yeah, definitely. Like it seems like every week there's some new discovery about exoplanets or some crazy signal from space. But where are we really at with this whole search? I mean, have we actually found anything concrete?
Well, you sent over an article about the current state of SETI, the
Yeah.
search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And one of the key takeaways there is that even with all the advancements, we still haven't found any definitive proof. So no confirmed radio signals from ET, no little green men waving hello just yet.
So no close encounters of the third kind yet. But what about all those exoplanets that we keep hearing about? Like some of these articles were talking about planets in the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, potentially just right for life.
Yeah, definitely. The Kepler and James Webb telescopes have been like game changers. We're finding thousands of these exoplanets, and some of them do seem to have conditions that could support life as we know it. But potential is the key word here.
Right, because we're not actually seeing aliens walking around on these planets. It's more about analyzing their atmospheres, right?
Yeah.
Like looking for chemical signatures that might suggest life.
Exactly. One of the articles you shared talked about the James Webb Space Telescope's capabilities, and it's pretty mind-blowing. Think about it. We can analyze the air of a planet light years away, looking for things like oxygen, methane, or other compounds that might suggest biological activity.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like we're these cosmic detectives searching for clues. But speaking of clues, what about signs we've already detected? Like I'm thinking of that signal from back in 1977. That must have caused quite a stir.
Oh, absolutely. It was a global sensation.
Yeah.
This strong narrowband radio signal lasting for 72 seconds and then poof, gone. For a long time, it was like the perfect candidate for an alien transmission.
But like you mentioned earlier, no definitive proof. So what's the current thinking on the wow signal?
Well, one of the studies you sent over actually claims to have debunked the whole alien origin theory. It points to a sun-like star thousands of light years away as the most probable source, saying that the signal was likely just a natural phenomenon, not ET phoning home.
So back to square one with that one. It's a bit of a bummer, but it does highlight the challenges involved.
Yeah.
You have to sift through so much data, and even the most promising leads can fizzle out.
It reminds us that the universe is full of mysteries and that our understanding of it is constantly evolving. Even when a theory is debunked, it helps us refine our methods and ask even better questions.
Okay, well, let's get to some of those big questions then. One of the articles brought up the Fermi paradox. Can you remind us what that is and why it's such a head-scratcher when it comes to this whole alien life thing?
Sure, so the Fermi paradox is this classic thought experiment. It's named after physicist Enrico Fermi. And it boils down to this. If the universe is so vast and ancient, with billions of galaxies and stars, and the potential for life to arise on so many planets, then why haven't we met any other intelligent civilizations yet?
Right. It does seem statistically improbable that we're all alone here. But if that's not the case, then where's everybody? It's a paradox that has fueled countless theories and debates for years.
Exactly. And some of those theories get pretty out there, like the idea that we're all living in a giant cosmic simulation, or that advanced alien civilizations are intentionally staying hidden from us, watching us like we're in a zoo.
Okay, that's both fascinating and a little creepy. But I have to admit, those possibilities are pretty fun to think about.
For sure. And then you've got the Drake equation, which takes a more mathematical approach.
Oh yeah, I remember that from science class. It's an attempt to estimate the number of detectable civilizations in our galaxy. But isn't there a lot of uncertainty built into that equation?
You're spot on. It factors in things like the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, the number of those planets that could support life, and so on. But for many of these factors, we only have very rough estimates, or we're just making educated guesses.
So the Drake equation is more of a thought experiment,
Mm-hmm.
a framework for thinking about the problem, than an actual definitive answer.
Yeah.
But even with all the unknowns, it's still a pretty powerful tool, right?
Definitely. Depending on what values you plug into the equation, you can get vastly different results. Some calculations suggest that we might be alone in the galaxy, while others say there could be millions of civilizations out there.
Talk about a wide range of possibilities. So how do we even start narrowing it down? Do we need to venture further into space to find those answers?
Well, interstellar travel is still pretty far off, but we are making amazing progress in exploring our own cosmic backyard, our solar system.
Now that you mentioned it, one of the articles you sent was all about potential hotspots for life right here in our solar system.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Where should we be looking?
Well, one of the articles you sent over highlighted a couple of pretty interesting spots right here in our solar system, and one of them is Mars. I mean, Mars has always kind of been like the go-to place when we think about finding life out there.
Yeah, Mars. It's like relatively close. And we've already got rovers there sending back some amazing pictures and data. What's the latest on the Martian front? Anything exciting?
So the article you sent focused on the Perseverance rover and its mission. It's basically searching for signs of ancient life. It's exploring this crater that scientists believe was once a lake billions of years ago, and it's collecting rock and soil samples that might actually contain evidence of past microbial life.
So I guess we're not really expecting to find little green Martians running around. It's more about finding like fossilized bacteria or other microscopic evidence that life might have existed there way back when.
Exactly. And the article mentioned that Perseverance has already found some interesting organic molecules, like the building blocks of life. Now, that's not definitive proof of past life, but it's definitely a pretty big clue.
It really gets you thinking, like what was Mars like billions of years ago when it might have had a thicker atmosphere and liquid water on its surface? Could it have been like teeming with life?
That's a question that scientists are dying to answer. And the samples that Perseverance is collecting are eventually going to be brought back to Earth for analysis. So yeah, we could get some groundbreaking insights from that.
Now, besides Mars, the article also talked about some other places in our solar system where life might exist. And these sound even more exotic, like the ocean worlds.
Yeah, those are the moons that have these vast oceans hiding beneath their icy surfaces.
Right.
The article specifically mentioned Europa, which orbits Jupiter, and Enceladus, which orbits Saturn.
I remember reading about those. It's crazy, like giant hidden oceans on these icy moons. It's hard to imagine anything could actually live in those environments.
Well, that's where it gets super interesting. So scientists think that these oceans could have hydrothermal vents, like the ones we find on the ocean floor here on Earth. And these vents release heat and chemicals from the moon's core, creating these conditions that could actually support life, even without sunlight.
So instead of relying on photosynthesis, like plants do here on Earth,
Yeah.
these hypothetical life forms would be getting their energy from chemosynthesis, using the chemicals from those vents. That's mind-blowing.
It really is. And what's even more exciting is that there are missions being planned to explore these ocean worlds. Like the article mentioned a mission called Europa Clipper, which is supposed to launch in a few years, and it'll orbit Jupiter and do multiple close flybys of Europa, studying its icy surface, its ocean, and even looking for plumes of water vapor that might be erupting from that ocean below.
So basically, Europa Clipper could give us our first real look at what's hidden beneath the ice. That's incredible. It feels like we're on the verge of like a whole new era of exploration in our solar system.
I think so too. And with each new mission, we're learning more about the incredible diversity of worlds in our cosmic neighborhood and expanding the possibilities of where life might exist.
Speaking of expanding possibilities, one of the articles you sent kind of took a broader look at the future of space exploration and all the missions that are coming up. And there's one that really caught my attention, Dragonfly. Can you tell us more about that one?
Yeah, Dragonfly, that's a mission that's going to explore Titan, which is Saturn's largest moon. And it's a truly unique world. I mean, it's the only moon in our solar system that we know of that has a dense atmosphere. And get this, it had lakes and seas of liquid methane on its surface.
Methane lakes. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Right, and what makes Dragonfly so cool is that it's not a rover like the ones we've sent to Mars. It's actually a drone, like a flying lander that can hop from one place to another, exploring different parts of Titan's landscape.
So it's like a robotic explorer buzzing around this alien moon, taking pictures and gathering all this data. What kind of stuff are they hoping to find with Dragonfly?
Well, Titan is full of organic molecules, the building blocks of life. And scientists believe that Titan's environment might be similar to the early Earth, like before life actually started here. So Dragonfly is going to be looking for signs of prebiotic chemistry, those chemical processes that could have led to the origin of life.
So it's kind of like a time machine, right? Letting us peek into the past and maybe even get clues about how life began on our own planet. That's amazing.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe Dragonfly will even stumble upon some evidence of life itself on Titan.
Wow, that would be huge. It seems like with all these missions and all the advancements in technology, we're really entering this golden age of space exploration. And it's not just about finding aliens, right? It's about learning more about the universe, pushing the boundaries of what we know.
I totally agree. It really speaks to human curiosity, our desire to explore the unknown, and who knows what incredible things we'll discover in the years to come.
So let's go back to the big picture for a second. We've talked about all the challenges and all the possibilities of finding alien life. But what if we actually do find it? What do you think that would mean for humanity? How would we react?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that your articles explored in depth. Some experts think that such a discovery could have a huge impact on how we see ourselves. Like, imagine realizing that we're not the only intelligent beings in the universe, that our way of thinking and being isn't the only way.
It would definitely be a humbling experience. One of the articles even said it could cause like an existential crisis for humanity, forcing us to really reevaluate our beliefs, our values, our place in the universe.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. The article made the point that this kind of introspection could actually lead us to a more mature and maybe even enlightened perspective. Imagine all the philosophical and scientific leaps we could make by interacting with a species that evolved completely independently from us, maybe with a totally different understanding of the universe.
That's a great point. It could be this incredible opportunity to learn and grow. It's like that saying, the only true wisdom is in knowing, you know, nothing. Contact with an alien civilization could really drive that home.
For sure. It would challenge our ideas about intelligence, about technology, about the very nature of reality.
We've been focusing on the search for intelligent life, but some of the articles also talked about the possibility of finding microbial life. Even that would be a massive
Oh,
discovery.
absolutely. Finding even the most basic forms of life beyond Earth would completely change how we understand biology and the origins of life. It would show us that life isn't some random fluke, that it can emerge in different environments, maybe even in conditions that are completely different from what we're used to here on Earth.
Yeah, one of the articles mentioned like extremophiles. Those organisms that live in crazy places, like boiling hot springs or the deepest parts of the ocean. It seems like studying those things is giving us some good clues about what life might be like on other planets.
Definitely. Extremophiles show us just how adaptable life can be. Like, it can survive in places that we thought were impossible. And that really broadens our search for life out there. We can't just focus on Earth-like planets, you know? We have to think about all sorts of weird possibilities.
It's like in those sci-fi movies where they find these like glowing creatures living in some dark alien ocean. Who knows what's really out there?
That sense of wonder is what drives a lot of the research in this field. And the cool thing is we're always developing new tools and techniques that allow us to explore the universe in ways we never could before.
Totally. We talked about the James Webb Telescope, Dragonfly, Europa Clipper. It feels like we're on the brink of some major discoveries.
I agree. And what's really fascinating is that the search for extraterrestrial life, it's not just about finding aliens, you know?
Yeah.
It's about understanding ourselves better, our place in the universe, what life itself really is.
It's like what they say, the journey is the destination. Even if we never find like concrete proof of alien life, the search itself is teaching us so much and inspiring a whole new generation of scientists and explorers.
That's a great point. The search for extraterrestrial life forces us to think bigger, to push the limits of what we know, and to never stop asking questions.
Well, I want to thank you for taking us on this incredible deep dive. It's been really eye-opening, and I feel like I'm leaving with a whole new sense of wonder about the universe.
The pleasure was all mine. And I think the biggest thing to remember is that the search for extraterrestrial life is still going strong. It's a mystery that continues to fascinate us, and who knows what amazing discoveries are just around the corner. So keep looking up at those stars and never stop wondering.